Outrage has erupted across social media and warnings are being sent out to remember this man's face and name.
Stop and take a good, long look at the face that I'm about to show you. Get a screen grab, and I need you to share it far and wide.
Make sure you remember his face.
We are not going to forget about Jesse Mack Butler.
The following deals with the topics of SA and DV. Viewer discretion is advised. If you or someone you know is the victim of SA or DV, there is help available. Jesse Mack Butler was arrested and charged with not only SAing two girls, but also abusing them nearly to the point of ending their lives.
Repeatedly grabbed two high school girls. When they refused, he would them to the brink of death and do it anyway.
He originally faced an almost 80-year sentence, but now that's all gone after some community service and monthly check-ins. In under a year, there may be no record of it in the eyes of the law.
Which is the fact that a convicted pled down from 78 years to 150 hours of community service and an expunged record.
But people aren't taking this news lying down. Protesters are taking to the sidewalks, and petitions calling for the judge to resign are making their rounds.
Judge Worthington's petition has over 2,000 signatures already.
On March 4th, 2025, police showed up at the home of 17-year-old Jesse Mack Butler with a warrant for his arrest. Documents show that when officers first arrived at the home, they tried knocking on the door. After several knocks, no one came to the door. As they walked away from the door, Jesse's mother pulled into the driveway in a black SUV. The officers then advised her of the arrest warrant, and she agreed to turn her son over to them. Body cam footage shows that she proceeded to lead them to her front door that she then knocked on and called for Jesse to open.
Jess, it's Mom. Open the door. It's me.
And if you'll just have him step out. Okay.
And it is clear throughout the entirety of the footage that his mother did everything to calm her son down, especially as he came outside and tears appeared visible in his eyes while the officer revealed to him why they were there.
Give me your wallet and phone and stuff. So, okay. Your what?
They're in the car.
Well, okay, it's fine. It's not locked or anything, is it? Okay. So, can you tell him what you just told me, or?
Yeah. So we're here. We're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman, and you shouldn't be there very long. But there just is a process for paperwork and stuff. But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs. So turn around for me.
You have to put him in handcuffs? You know we're doing this. So, do you have a... Yeah. I'll get you out. For me? All right. Stay silent. Rick knows about this. Candy's on this. Dad's on his way. We're coming to get you, okay? Just stay strong, okay? Say your prayers.
The officers then explained to Jesse's mom that he was being taken to the Stillwater Police Department so that there would be no confusion. She followed Jesse and continued her commentary as he was brought over to the police cruiser. Only this time, it was intended for the officers' ears, not her son's. Jesse was then patted down and checked before being placed in the cruiser.
Pat you down. Spread your feet for me.
And his mother had a few final words of reassurance before their parting.
That's Jess.
The video, though taken in March, was only recently released to the public on October 30th in response to an open records request and not due to new police activity, according to a spokesperson with the Stillwater Police Department in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And something many people who had since witnessed the increasingly viral footage can't seem to ignore, Mrs. Butler's ignorance. Boy mom, final boss. Sheesh. That mom is a terrible person. I hope she gets what's coming to her. Gah. His mom is such an enabler. This is a horrible look on the state of Oklahoma. The fact his mom was consoling him for getting arrested after everything he's done is wild. I would be disgusted, disappointed, mortified if my son did this. I'd feel like a complete and total failure as a mother. I wouldn't be coddling him and telling him I'll get him out of that. How disgusting of her. Did you hear her say, awful experience for a child? Excuse me? You mean his victims, right? Her side hug and soothing reassurances almost made it seem like she was comforting a boy who'd done something minor, not someone who was being arrested on serious charges. From her demeanor at the start of the footage to questioning why he needed to be put in handcuffs, promising he'd be out soon, and calling the arrest an awful experience for a child, many viewers felt the moment offered an intimate glimpse into the kind of home environment that may have enabled him long before police ever got involved. I see now the mom is the problem. They have been enabling him and let his privilege show that he would never have to face consequences for any of his actions. But what exactly did Jesse do to land him in the back of a cop car and garner such disgust from commenters? It all stems from an investigation that began on September 12, 2024, after 2 of Jesse's victims came forward with allegations against him stemming from earlier that year. Police documents reveal that the 2 girls had approached the assistant principal at Stillwater High School and asked to speak with the school resource officer. When he arrived, they both took the time to explain what Jesse, who was 16 and 17 at the time, had done to them earlier that year. When he arrived, the assistant principal provided him with written statements from both females. After reading their statements, he advised them he was not going to ask them any questions, but let them know that he would be writing a report to document their statements and they would probably be contacted for forensic interviews. It's reported that one of the girls, 16-year-old LS, told the resource officer that she and Jesse were in a romantic relationship for the first 3 months of 2024, and added that she would always tell him no, but he would get aggressive and hurt her until she said yes. LS suffered severely at the hands of Jesse Mack Butler. She reportedly revealed to detectives that Jesse repeatedly SA'd her and restricted her breathing when she tried to refuse during their 3-month relationship. She also told investigators that when Jesse would attack her, he would threaten to end her life, the lives of her family, and allegedly even his own if she were to ever disclose his actions to anyone. According to court documents, it was because of this LS complied with Jesse out of fear of what he would do to her if she did not. Subsequently, the assaults left her with significant physical trauma. A detective on the case wrote that she was scared and crying. She told Butler no, but he did not listen. In one particular case, court documents tell of a time in February when Jesse had taken LS to an ice cream shop, and while sitting in his parked car, he began attempting to SA her. According to Law and Crime Network, the affidavit read, LS reported she yelled and told him no repeatedly and tried to push him off of her, but was unable to overpower him. She went on to explain that Jesse told her he was sorry for what he had to do, but he had to do it. She reportedly began hyperventilating in the face of what was about to happen to her before he was thankfully interrupted by a knock on the car window. A passerby must have heard LS screaming and came to see if she was all right. And when this happened, Jesse allegedly told her that if the police arrived, they would both be in trouble. But it seems this was enough to stall his attempts on her in the parking lot, and he took her back to his home where her car was parked. Only Jesse Mack Butler wasn't satisfied with how the night had gone, and after parking the car, he allegedly attempted to SA her once again. But thankfully, she was able to get away and go home. Sadly, in another example of Jesse's refusal to take no for an answer, LS was not able to escape his attempts and he forcefully held her by the neck, causing her to fall unconscious. The court document detailed that when she regained consciousness, Jesse was laughing at her. Following this incident, she reported she had a handprint and injury on her neck. This injury on her neck led LS to visit a doctor who informed her that had Jesse held onto his grip for a mere 30 seconds longer, she would not have survived. The attack was so severe that she eventually needed to undergo surgery to repair the resulting damage, a process her mother documented on her Facebook over the summer, writing the following alongside a photo of her ready for surgery. Is heading into surgery soon to repair a vein in her neck. It was an unnecessary injury from DVs she endured. She's carried herself with quiet strength and resilience over the past year. This surgery is one more step in her healing, and we're so proud of the way she continues to move forward while finding her voice. The procedure is expected to take 3 to 4 hours, and we'd appreciate your prayers and positive thoughts for a smooth, successful outcome. And after the procedure was over, she shared another update on her daughter's condition, writing, "Surgery overall was successful. Unfortunately, the injury was larger and more in-depth than they originally anticipated. He was able to remove the majority of the damaged vein, but it was too close to the skin wall to take it all. We are hopeful this will heal beautifully and not require further treatment. Her doctor said we will just need to keep an eye on it. Her nerve was very involved in the area of repair, and because of this, they warned us she may have some facial drooping/weakness, but it would be temporary. We've made her smile, frown, and all the faces in between, and if there is any, it is minimal. Her little face is swollen, so it's hard to tell if it's from swelling or weakness. She's excited to get home to her bed, brothers, and puppy." And a week later, she shared another update along with a photo showing the extent of the injury after surgery, writing along with it, "Her doctor is pleased with the healing and progress. She does have some facial drooping and weakness that will continue to improve over the next couple of weeks and months. He told her he is absolutely positive he did not damage the nerve because they did nerve stimulation during the procedure. It's just very angry." Thankfully, she was able to escape this relationship with him. But sadly, Jesse Mack Butler was not satisfied and evidently needed to continue taking what another was not comfortable with giving. His next girlfriend turned victim was KS, who entered into a relationship with Jesse just shortly after her 16th birthday in March. According to KS's mother, Jesse appeared to be the perfect boyfriend for her daughter at first. She reportedly said that Jesse was wonderful. He was so nice. He brought her flowers, her favorite tea. He took her to the country club, golfing, to play pickleball. He went to church with us. Sounds like a lovely young boy to court your daughter, right? Well, as we know from LS's experiences, it seems Jesse was good at putting up a front, at least in the beginning. Eventually, though, this wall of niceties fell down and she noticed a change in KS, saying that she would start making more plans with friends and spending less time with him. "I noticed things were a little weird, but I didn't know what. We had no idea." But that's because KS reportedly felt such overwhelming shame that she wasn't able to confide in her mother about what had been happening, all of which was much of the same that LS had just escaped from. And it wasn't until she connected with LS and they made the decision to go to the school resource officer with their experiences that a detective informed her of the SA KS had alleged to have suffered at the hands of Jesse. Their relationship is said to have ended after 6 months, but court documents reveal that during their relationship, KS reported Jesse was often physically and mentally abusive and had SA'd her on numerous occasions. In the summer of 2024, KS said she blacked out during one of the assaults. When she came to, he wasn't worried for her. Instead, he was amused. And then, disturbingly, he wanted to have it saved to relive later. So he proceeded to repeat the attack over again, this time capturing it on video. And this is not an alleged situation, as detectives later searched Jesse's phone and found the video in question that aligned with the timing of the attack as KS described it. And there was allegedly another attack, but one that happened right under the nose of Jesse's mother.
Jesse Mack Butler's mother heard the screams of one of his victims and did nothing to stop it. She heard the girl screaming no and crying for help while Jesse was attacking her in her own home and did nothing. All she did was knock on the door of their movie room and asked if everything was okay, and when her son told her everything is fine, don't worry about it, she said okay and walked away, knowing that she just heard a girl fighting for her life.
The two girls were brave in coming forward to tell their stories, but what was done to protect them from their abuser? As a reminder, it was September of 2024 that they spoke with the resource officer at their school, and then March 2025 that Jesse was arrested at his home. Authorities had to carry out the investigation and procedure had to be followed, but the girls both went to Stillwater High School with Jesse. They shared classes with him. He had threatened their lives and even nearly taken them, and it's reported for the 2 whole weeks following LS and KS giving their reports, Jesse continued to be allowed to physically remain in school before transitioning to remote learning. Following the investigation and Jesse's arrest, the charges he was facing were revealed to be 2 counts of attempted rape in the 1st degree, 2 counts of rape by instrumentation, and 1 count each of sexual battery, forcible oral assault and battery by strangulation, rape by instrumentation, assault, and battery. And then another charge was added of violation of a protective order after an emergency protective order was sought by one of the victims, an order he seemingly chose to ignore. It's unclear whether it was LS or KS who got the order in place, but police reports say that she felt intimidated and harassed by Jesse Butler due to continued unnecessary contact with him at her school. She stated Butler had not tried to verbally interact with her, but he appeared to insert himself in locations he knew she would be at. She stated this typically occurred in the parking lot of Stillwater High School and while walking into the school. So, 11 very serious charges in total, which, if tried as an adult, the combined statutory maximums under Oklahoma law could potentially total around 78 years in prison, if each count is sentenced consecutively. In the face of this, Jesse's team tried to have him be charged as a juvenile, a request that was denied. Then, according to the Oklahoman, it became clear that he was realistically facing up to 10 years on the most serious counts, sentences set to run concurrently or at the same time, along with several shorter terms for the remaining charges, which together could have amounted to decades in prison if he'd been tried as an adult. During one of the court hearings, LS read her victim impact statement that said in part, "I've had to explain bruises, explain silence, explain why I started isolating from people who love me. You didn't just me with your hands. You my voice, my joy, my ability to feel safe in my own body. I need you to remember that what happened to me wasn't only a it was nearly attempted murder," she said. "So I ask that you hold him accountable to the fullest. 30 more seconds and this would not be my statement. It would be my mother's because I would not have survived. I survived what he did, but I will never be the same." But despite the prosecution's attempt to have him tried as an adult, considering the repeated severe evidence-backed charges he was facing, that too was denied when Judge Susan Worthington decided to charge Jesse as a youthful offender after a July 24th hearing where he later agreed to a plea deal, something LS, KS, and their families and legal teams were vehemently opposed to. So what does this mean? In short, a much lighter, and some would and are arguing, a nearly non-existent sentence. In August, he pleaded no contest to his charges and in alignment with his plea deal, which by definition means he does not accept or deny responsibility for the charges but waives the right to a trial and agrees to accept the penalty. And on October 6th, it was revealed that Jesse Mack Butler was sentenced to more than 100 hours of community service, a curfew, no social media, daily check-ins, and weekly counseling until his 19th birthday, as reported by the Oklahoma State University student newspaper. And people have been outraged by the news of this lenient sentencing. This is ridiculous. 150 hours? Make it make sense. Innocent until proven guilty, or so I used to think. He's an adult. He made adult choices and pays no adult consequences. And to top it off, it's all expunged? What the heck? Do better. It's good versus evil. Stillwater here. Our community is disgusted by this case. I live in Stillwater. It's insane all over town about it. Why would a woman see a man with these charges and not want to protect young women by holding him accountable? Some are even calling for Judge Worthington and others involved in the outcome to be removed. As an Oklahoma attorney, I have never heard another attorney say anything positive about Judge Worthington. There is a petition to remove her judicial powers. I just signed. Don't forget about Assistant District Attorney Deborah Vincent, who initially charged him with 78 years, but then decided to charge him as a minor, and the actual DA, Laura Thomas, who oversees and approves everything they both do. And LS's mother shared a statement to the court saying, "As a mom, I never thought I'd have to watch my daughter fight this kind of battle, one where she had to prove she was the victim over and over again, while the system made excuse after excuse for the person who hurt her. My daughter has handled this with more strength than most adults could. She still shows up to school, still cheers, still smiles, even when people who should have protected her didn't. Watching her stay brave while adults failed her has been both inspiring and heartbreaking." Jesse's victims were seeking justice and an assurance that he wouldn't be able to do what he did to them to anyone else ever again. Things that she says are now out of their grasp. It was ripped away from them, completely ripped away. But how could this be allowed to happen? Well, something we have yet to mention, Jesse Mack Butler was an athlete. He competed with RAINN Baseball, a team which states that it prepares high school athletes for the next level with elite training, competitive play, and character development, an endeavor that clearly didn't work all that well with Jesse. Something many people are also pointing out, this case has privilege written all over it. Take, for example, this image that's been circulating showing how Jesse chose to appear in court, flanked by his mother and sister. Commenters were not holding back on how this made him appear. This is him in court, by the way. The outfit says everything about him. Most courts will not allow you to wear sunglasses into the courthouse. His and his family members' body language is speaking out loud. We protect ours and we don't care. The shades say everything you need to know about this dirtbag. His mom is an enabler. But how did Jesse get to be this way? Stillwater is home to Oklahoma State University, and Jesse's dad, Mack Butler, was reportedly the head of football operations there for a number of years. His mother also works as a coordinator at the university, and this TikToker decided to look into what this familial relationship to the local university could mean in connection with Jesse's sentencing.
I guess maybe I'm just not that big into college sports, but I didn't realize exactly how much influence they can have. Coaches and families, they usually have long careers in the same region and know local prosecutors, judges, county commissioners, university officials, boosters, and influential alumni. And friendship or alumni ties can create social pressure or information persuasion. Then there comes the booster donor power. So like big donors and boosters who fund athletics can use their money and access to lobby prosecutors, elected officials, or university leaders, sometimes asking for favors or leniency for people that they're connected with. And I found out that coaches who are well connected politically or whose relatives are can influence elected DAs, judges, or local officials indirectly through campaigning, endorsements, or fundraising.
And she wasn't the only one to put this connection together. The judge also has ties to OSU. Judge was an alumni of the same school. Yes, the college OSU runs Stillwater, Oklahoma. They sweep everything under the rug so parents will think it's safe. It's truly upsetting. His father was the director of operations of OSU football program. It's considered in the top 50 programs in the country. He also worked as LSU assistant director of a top 20 football program. And if we learned anything from the 19-year-old Stanford University student, competitive swimmer, and Olympic hopeful Brock Turner, who SA'd a woman while she was unconscious behind a dumpster after a party in 2015, athletes can seemingly be treated differently. The judge famously gave him just 6 months in jail, citing concerns that a longer sentence might have a severe impact on his life. Like Brock Turner, Jesse's athletic status and privileged background seem to have worked in his favor. This is Brock Turner all over again. And rumors circulated about what was said during the sentencing to reflect this comparison. I'm sure we'd hate to ruin his bright future, was said. He comes from such a good family. The judge, probably. Yes, she did. I heard through someone she has said, I don't want to ruin this young man's life for one mistake, or along those lines. Outrage. But what can be done? Well, in terms of Jesse's legal repercussions for the crimes he committed against his victims, nothing. As it stands, so long as he abides by the rules set out in his deal, then it will all go away for him legally after his 19th birthday, which is less than a year away.
After that, the state's jurisdiction ends and his record gets expunged, no SO list. His psychological evaluation and rehabilitation plan are sealed so the public can't even see why the court thought he deserved to walk free.
But that doesn't mean that the fight is over. If Jesse breaks any of the conditions of his youthful offender rehabilitation plan, he will be required to fulfill the original 10-year-plus sentence. And there is a possibility that he will not continue to comply with them, considering what happened when he was charged for violation of the protective order. There is also rumors circulating that he's already not complying with the social media rule. As someone in Oklahoma, he's already on Tinder again.
Part of that deal says that he is not allowed to have social media, but I have heard from multiple people in Stillwater, Oklahoma, that he might have a Tinder account or something similar. And if that's true, that is a direct violation of his plea agreement. So here's what I need from y'all. Find it. I know some of y'all are capable of this. If you come across that profile, screenshot it, link it, and email it to me directly. I will make sure that it gets to the families and the attorneys so they can use it as evidence to hopefully end this plea deal.
There is also reportedly a third victim, and possibly even more, and if any of them should choose to step forward and bring their own cases against Jesse, it's likely that the outcome could be more severe. And though it won't help with this case, petitions to have the judge removed are gaining traction.
Judge Worthington's petition has like over 2,000 signatures already.
The public wants to see change, and aside from signatures and comments, they continue to demonstrate this by taking their voices to the streets of Stillwater and protesting. Notice was sent out to the public that one would be taking place on November 5th. But when wind of this got to the high school, the superintendent sent out a notice to students and families of their own. As you are likely aware, there are ongoing discussions in our community regarding an event planned to take place at the Payne County Courthouse on November 5th. It continued that they understood that a number of their students were interested in attending and participating, and they basically went on to spell out why that would be a bad idea for them to do. While we wholeheartedly support our students' First Amendment rights to express themselves and engage in civic discourse, as a school district, we have a responsibility to the state to ensure that self-expression does not disrupt the education environment. School policy and state law require students to attend class during scheduled instructional time. As such, while it is a student's right to express themselves, we want families to be aware that an absence to participate in any outside event on this day or another will be treated under board policy as an unexcused absence for any classes missed, may impact students' ability to participate in SHS's semester test exemption policy. We are not sharing this information to be punitive, nor to encourage or discourage participation, but to ensure every family understands the academic and extracurricular consequences of this choice. We encourage you to speak with your child about any issue that concerns them. Discuss their feelings, the importance of their voice, and the various ways they can express their views, such as participating in community events outside of school hours or writing to elected officials. They even added that they would like parents or guardians to inform them if they knew that their child planned on attending. And this policy reminder didn't sit right with a number of people who voiced their frustration on a post to the Stillwater community page about the email. It's one day and completely worth it. The school is complicit in this. How do we remove the current superintendent? If he does not support the young women, we should demand his resignation. No one cares about the absence if they're going. They care about that little a-hole getting the justice he deserves. One unexcused absence isn't a big deal. A kid walking away from almost ending a girl is a huge problem. Sounds to me like they are trying to keep students from joining the protest. I absolutely get that schools have a set amount of days that students have to attend, but they also have a responsibility to keep students safe. Students don't feel safe and want justice for those girls, and they shouldn't be persuaded to not attend. I'm so disappointed to see this from the new superintendent. He had an opportunity here to send a clear message of support to the students who've been terrorized on their campus, and he missed the mark entirely. Sure wish they'd taken the care and safety of their students' whereabouts this seriously last year. And TikToker, just in the nick of crime, who has been closely following this case from the beginning, offered his thoughts on the email as well.
On the surface, it sounds supportive, right? We support students' First Amendment rights. This isn't meant to be punitive, but that's not what this says at all. This is a warning. It's the district saying, go ahead and protest. We'll make sure you pay for it. They know what this protest is about, y'all. They know these kids aren't marching for some abstract random cause. They're standing up against what happened right there in their own community. This letter reads like a threat disguised as policy. It tells families, if your child speaks up, that's an unexcused absence. If they stand up for what's right, they could lose their test exemptions. Also, by the way, if they go, make it easier for us. Tell us first so that we can keep track. It's all written in polite, carefully chosen language. But the message underneath, in my opinion, is loud and clear. Stay quiet. And that's what the system always does. They protect the predators, not the victims.
And many commenters were right there with him. You know what? F an unexcused absence. I would gladly take that. School wants to brush it under the rug with threatening tones. I would be fine with my kids having an unexcused absence. I'd go with them. I feel certain most students will be severely nauseous after reading this letter, so attending the protest and getting a physician's letter shouldn't be an issue. And when the day came for the protest to take place, many did, in fact, show up to have their voices heard.
No peace, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. He will reoffend! He will reoffend! He will! All for justice! All for justice! All for justice! All for justice! All for justice!
And attendees included Jesse's victims and their families as well. A number of people in the comments of stories covering this case have expressed their outrage coupled with their desire to take matters into their own hands, and have even been shaming the victims' fathers for not doing this themselves already. But LS's mother wanted to set the record straight as to why that has not happened. In a Facebook post on the night of November 5th, she shared a photo of LS at the protest beside her father and wrote, "One final post for the night. One of the hardest things we've read are the comments asking, does she even have a dad, or where's her dad? Let me tell you exactly where he is. Right here. Holding his girl up while the world tried to tear her down. Loving her through pain most can't imagine. Showing her every day what real strength, restraint, and unconditional love looks like. Is it hard for him? More than most will ever know. But look at her smile. That's the peace that comes from having her dad beside her, not behind bars. That's what healing looks like." She ended the post with asking people to think before commenting about a nightmare they know nothing about unless they themselves have lived through it. There was another protest planned for November 15th, a Saturday this time, likely in an effort to bypass the school's regulations and see more attendees. And this time, organizers set their sights higher and planned the location for the Oklahoma State Capitol in Oklahoma City, over an hour's drive south of Stillwater. The next protest is already in the works and is planned for December 8th, the day of Jesse's next court hearing. Many fear that he will reoffend, especially due in part to his current youthful offender rehabilitation sentence. But even though Jesse never made it to a jury of his peers, thankfully the jury of public opinion is alive and well. The news of his crimes and arrest and the outrage over his subsequent lenient sentencing has not only made national news, but it's reaching global audiences. Together, we can ensure that his face and name are out there so that even if his records are clean, people who come into contact with him and decide to look up his name will know what kind of man they are dealing with. Violent, repeat offenders must be held accountable. While you're here, check out our video about a father people want investigated after a sickening confession involving his daughter. And consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your support means a lot to us and helps us continue to create videos like these.